Hello, good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me to this panel, Dr. Stevens. And yes, I am the founder of Establishment Labs, a women's health company dedicated to breast aesthetics and breast reconstruction. And as a founder, I want to tell you, it's been 21 years since I started this company in my parents' house. I come from a family of plastic surgeons, so it's in the ethos of the company. And what we do is real innovation. Use the power of science, engineering, and clinical data to be able to really deliver what we believe is a super cycle of innovation coming to the United States. So let's start with what we did in 2010, creating this low inflammatory surface. This is based on the idea that cells interact with types of surface structures that can make them basically inactive. And what we did with this is basically, by 2021, being able to prove in the Nature Biomedical Engineering landmark paper that we did with scientists from MIT to absolutely prove in which ways does this work. So what we are doing is basically bioengineering a surface so that cells have this low inflammatory response. How does it work? Well, we are creating a high population of T regulatory cells that are downregulating that inflammatory response. And that's why we see the innate immune response to these implants being lowered to that amount. The other thing we did in 2010 is create this true monoblock. So it's not about gel or shells, it's about the entire implant and how all of its components are working together. And that is based on the science of rheology, how we can interact with all the components so that we can create a stronger foundation. So of course, we feel super proud that we finally received the FDA approval, but I think we feel even more proud of how we did that by proving that our device-related complications at 4 years can be down to 0.5% for capsular contracture, grade 3 and 4, and for implant rupture. These numbers have never been seen before in any FDA breast implant trial. And we stand very proud with those data because they go together with more than 14 years of OUS clinical data, more than 4 million implants in the market. We're releasing our 5-year data tomorrow, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. Now, we're moving to expand markets. It's not only safety that is going to allow us to expand markets, it's this idea that we can create true minimally invasive breast aesthetics. And we've been doing a lot of research on that since 2013, both market research, but especially a lot of scientific work that has been going behind this. And now we have launched this amazing thing called MIA. MIA Femtech is basically the first generation of our minimally invasive platform. With this minimally invasive platform, a new type of breast implant, by the way, the Ergonomics 2-line, super silicones, we are actually injecting these implants through a very small incision of 2 centimeters, completely changing the game for the experience of women. Basically you're getting a breast harmonization, 2 cups up, in less than 15 minutes. This is our 3-year data of the MIA Femtech IRB trial. And not only do you see, this 0% capsular contracture and 0% rupture at 3 years, the most important thing is that you see that inferior malposition is now 0%. And that is just an amazing thing because we are lowering not only device-related complications, but also technique-related complications while we are expanding the market. In our first 18 months in the market in Europe, 40% of patients getting MIA are totally new to the category. They did not want a breast augmentation. They were using padded bras, push-up bras, and because of this, we are expanding a market that used to be completely flat. And if you look at our minimally invasive platform, we're going from MIA Femtech to, having launched Preservé now OUS in several markets, and that expands the number of indications, for 3-4 cups up, breast augmentation, revision augmentation, mastopexy augmentation, and hybrid augmentation. So it really brings, this idea of minimally invasive beyond, that is small group that is doing MIA for market expansion to a bigger group, the day-to-day of the plastic surgeon. And then there's GEM, gluteal ergonomic modeling. We have now moved from our feasibility study to a pivotal study, and that is a big game changer because, as you know, when it comes to gluteal aesthetic treatments, there aren't very good options right now. Our Flora tissue expander, this tissue expander has been now used in the US for more than 1 year. We are in more than 35 hospitals, MD Anderson just published a fantastic paper on how this tissue expander is making a big difference in not only their patients, but the way that whole team, that interdisciplinary team that works in breast reconstruction, can now do their planning differently. You can do MRIs. You can do all these things that you couldn't do before. And that is, the type of innovations that we are bringing to breast reconstruction. And there's this thing. There's a world of biosensors that is coming. So, we have been working with RFID technology now since 2011. And, in many geographies, our implants are, available commercially with an RFID technology. But now we're moving to biosensors. This is now in 2 clinical trials with a temperature biosensor. Why? Because if you use temperature, you can actually do a lot of detection, and with data, AI, we can use that to create patterns that have significance into clinical outcomes. This is just, the first paper that we published. This is a preclinical model, but it was published in Nature, and what do we see? Just like, we saw 30 years ago with thermography, you can actually use this data to eventually, do early detections of the possibility of cancer. So this world of predictive medicine is not only for, what happens after, a breast procedure, is about lifestyle, is about women's health. And that's the type of company that we are, standing super proud here, super happy to be in the United States, bringing real innovation to this market. Thank you very much.